So let's talk about congruent polygons. So congruent polygons are just polygons that have the same shape and the same size. Those are the two most important qualifications for congruent polygons. So if two polygons are congruent, then their corresponding sides and also their angles are going to be congruent as well. So when we write our congruent statements for our polygons, we want to show that the corresponding sides are congruent and also show the corresponding angles are congruent as well. So for example, we have two triangles. We have triangle A, B, and C, and we also have triangle TSR. So our goal is to show that both of these triangles are congruent. So the first step that we're going to do is show the corresponding angles are congruent. So if we look, angle A has 3 curves. So we also see that angle T has 3 curves as well in its angle. So therefore we can say angle A is congruent to angle T. Let's look at angle B. So if we look at angle B, okay, it only has 1 curve inside its angle. So we're going to look at the other triangle and see if we can find an angle that only has 1 curve as well, because that lets me know that they're congruent. So if we look, angle B is going to be congruent to angle S because they both only have 1 curve, and it indicates that they're congruent. Last angle. Angle C has 2 curves inside. And we also notice that angle R also has 2 curves inside. So it lets me know that angle C is going to be congruent to angle R. So now that we found our corresponding angles and that they're congruent, let's do the same thing for our sides. When writing the statements of our sides, we want to make sure that our points are corresponding correctly in the right order. So let's look at one of our sides. So when we notice side AB, it only has 2 dashes. So when we look at triangle TSR, that TS also has 2 dashes. So that lets me know that side AB is going to be congruent to side TS. So it's important to note that AB is not congruent to ST because we want to make sure our points are corresponding correctly. Now let's look at BC. So side BC, if we notice, has 3 dashes. So if we notice our other triangle, SR also has 2 dashes on its side. So therefore, side BC is going to be congruent to side SR. Last slide, next slide, side. So if we look at AC, it only has 1 dash on its side. So if we look at the other triangle, TR also only has 1 little dash. So therefore, AC is going to be congruent to side TR. Now that we've shown that all our corresponding angles are congruent, and with the same thing with our sides, we show that the corresponding sides are congruent to one another, we can finally say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle TSR.